Hello. Right, it's testing audio. I see the meter going up. That's good. All right, so we'll just wait 1 minute and see if it turns up, and then we'll do some Qigong. And I'm going to sit here very calmly. Oh, I can see people joining. Very good evening to you. If I haven't got any audio, or if there's anything seriously wrong, please put something up on the chat. It's useful to, I will see it popping up, so it's useful to get some feedback like that. Okay, it's 6:30. So, okay, so we're going to start. And this evening, we're going to work with our Hara and Dantien exercises. Sorry, I'll say that again. We're going to work with our Dantien and our Hara and doing various exercises for this area, which is very important because it's the core energy center of our being. So working with our core energy center, as you can imagine, is very, very important. And also another thing I should mention about this is the abdominal brain. So our gut area is full of nervous tissue. In fact, there's probably as many neurons in our belly than there is in a cat's brain. So that might seem a bit a strange statement, but it's very, very true. There's an awful lot of neural activity in our gut. So it's good to work with it. I think the last session was for digestion, the last video. So you can always go back and watch that one if you want to do more stuff with digestion. But today we're just going to focus mainly on this Dantien, this area here, which is translated as the elixir fields. You could call it your fertility field as well, because that's where we come from the womb. So what we're going to do for our first one is, as usual, we'll have our feet shoulder width apart and our feet are parallel. Now this is really important, not just for alignment of the body, because unfortunately as we get older we all start getting more and more asymmetrical, so we want to bring some kind of symmetry back into our body, which also allows the energy to flow up and down well. But it also can have an effect here. If you're sticking your feet out all the time, you can empty your energy from this Hara energy area. And when I say Hara, I'm using the Japanese term for the belly area. So, you know, and sometimes Dantien and Hara can be terms that are interchangeable. Sometimes it may not be good to interchange them. So, but I'm using both terms partly to signify that there is a lot of Oriental awareness of our core energy in our belly. So, like I was saying, feet shoulder width apart and parallel, because we want a good flow of energy for our body. And placing your hands just below the navel. Now, there's lots of books that say where the Dantien is. Well, Dantien is more inside the body, so, but there's often points they talk about on the belly you need to tap into. But different books say different things, and actually they're all generally correct. It's just where you want to tap it. It's just different points can tap into into that energy, which may be more or less sensitive for different people. So what I want you to do is to move your hands up and down until you just feel instinctively where you can feel that they suddenly would stop and you're having a sense of making connection to that core energy center in our lower belly. So for me today, it feels instinctively here. Where my thumbs are is roughly where my navel is, so it's slightly below the navel. And just allow your intention to go from your head, down through your heart, down into your belly. And just deep, steady breathing, feeling your abdomen expand as you're breathing in. Feeling your belly, your abdomen contract and relax as you're breathing out. Slow and steady breathing. And just be aware of any sensation that you may be feeling in that area. And just be, just try to, in a way, memorize or just acknowledge where you're feeling, because we will go back to that in a moment. Okay. So I want you to bend your knees and wave your arms. And really feel you're getting deep into this area. I know I say that every week, but for this session, it's even more important to get deep into your belly, deep into your pelvis. Good. And then bring your hands on top of your hip bones and have your fingers pointy downwards and just rotate. Bringing energy down through your body, down into the pelvis and hips, and down through your legs, down into your feet. And the other way around. And just relax. Okay, so we're going to go for a series of simple Dantien exercises. Now, there's a bit of a protocol in this, in terms of where you're placing your hands. I wouldn't worry about it too much, but I'm going to go with that convention. So if you like to if you're male, put your left hands underneath your navel where you felt that energy earlier, and your right's one on top. And for women, for females, if you like to put your right hand underneath the navel with your left one on top. And I'm swapping over because I'm being a bloke. And breathe in. And breathe out, bending the knees slightly. And breathing in. And breathing out. So your movements follows your breath. You may not necessarily do it at the same rhythm as myself because we all breathe slightly differently. It's nice sometimes when you're doing group work to have everybody in sync. It has a quality of energy which can be undescribable in a way. But the most important thing is that your movements follow your breath rather than your breath following your movements. Breathing in as you're coming up, breathing out as you're coming down. And relax. So the next one is bringing your fingertips pointing towards each other, just underneath the navel, just underneath the Dantien. And breathe in, lifting your hands up. And breathing out, lifting them down and bending your knees slightly. So bring energy up to your lungs. And bring energy back down when you're breathing out, back down to your belly. And bringing your hands down. And just relax for a moment. Next exercise, having your hands focusing on the Dantien. So it's almost like you're making, well, like laser beams, energetic connections to that area. And breathing in and bringing your palms to face outwards. And breathing out, condensing inwards, slightly bending on the knees. Don't know about you, it looks like my left leg is bowing out. That's because of the positioning of the camera, not because it's actually bowing out. But that's part of the fun of doing this, is learning as you're going along. What's the best ways to create presentation? That's a little bit better. And breathing out, condensing in. Breathing in as you're going out, breathing in as you're condensing in. That's the problem when your mind starts thinking sometimes. It can start to trip you up. But if you're living more in the moment, focusing your intention on what you're doing, you find that there's less tripping up. Working with the Dantien is very useful to be able to live in the present moment. And finishing off this last one. And relax. So, next exercise is called pushing palms. And how you're going to do this is up to you, whether you want to be mirror image to me or you want to do the same directions as me, because I'm going to give you instructions. So at the moment, my left hand is on top of my right hand, and my hands are just below the navel. Now this exercise is very good for all kind of abdominal complaints, and it's be very stimulating for the Dantien. So to start off with, I'm going to press I'm going to turn my waist slightly, press my left hand forward, so my hand is in line with the sternum and with the heart, and my other hand is going just underneath the rib cage. So there's a band of energy here called the daimai, the girdle vessel. So we're tapping into that energy, and there's a special point. It's hard for me to show you, but it's on the gallbladder meridian if you're interested, called the daimai point. And I'm going to focus this part of my hand into that area. So as I was turning to the right and pressing with my left hand, and then coming back, bringing my right hand on top of my left hand, turning the waist, left palm facing downwards, right palm in front of your sternum, your breastbone, your heart, and then coming back, left hand on top, going out to your right, breathing in, coming in, right hand on top, going out, breathing out. If you find the breathing, the coordination difficult, just breathe naturally. It's far more important to breathe naturally than getting all muddled up, getting your knickers in a twist, getting frustrated and confused. Don't worry about that. Just breathe naturally. And then when you get used to the exercise, then you can breathe out as you're going out, breathing in as you're coming in. So if you watch the digestion video, the last video, this would be an added extra one for that as well. And your movements comes from your Dantien, from your waist. The hands are following, but the drive is coming from below. And then bring your hands back. And then bring your hands down. What are we doing for time? Oh, it's okay. So, next one. It's a bit like Dantien up and down like we did earlier, but we're going to actually go up on our heels. When I keep talking about the Dantien down here, that's the lower Dantien. There's actually two others, the one here and the one there. So this is your abdominal brain, and where your core energy, your core vitality, the vitality energy that you got from your parents and from your ancestors are all kinds of goes into this area. But we also have our hearts, and in Chinese medicine, the heart is synonymous to the mind, so heart, mind. And then we've got our brain, our head. That's, if you like, in this area here, the upper Dantien. So we've got an upper, middle, and lower. So this exercise, partly as well as for other reasons you can use it for, is representing those three areas, our three brains. And when our three brains are working, hopefully we will be working more optimally and find that things just go much more smoothly, and you can have more wisdom, more compassion, and more vitality to do the things that you wish to do. Okay, so fingertips pointing towards each other. That's your lower Dantien. And breathe in, lifting off your heels. Up. And then down. And hands coming up, breathing in. Hands going out. And breathing out, coming down again. And breathe in. Hands above your head, separating just above your forehead and coming down. And breathe in. Breathe out. Breathing in. And breathing out. And breathe in. And breathing out. And just carry on. It's a great way of circulating energy around the whole body as well. A great way of balancing your autonomic nervous system. It's a good way of being having your energy uplifted, and finding that it creates, trying to think of the right words, it'll come out within a minute. I do that sometimes. I get lost for words because there's so many words. It kind of helps to uplift your energies up and outwards. So it has an expansive effect, helping with your creativity, helping to get things done, helping to release the winter blues, because it's certainly cold here in the southwest of England, in Cornwall at the moment. I'm sure it's colder in other places. At least we didn't have snow. Well, at least where I live, there was no snow. This exercise will really help to bring a step into your life. You can just step out and to do anything that you like. And bring your hands finally down, back to your Dantien. Okay, so how are we doing for time? We've got a few minutes, so we're going to drop the camera down a little bit. That's it. So you can see my belly. So you can do the standing or sitting. It's actually best to sit because then it relaxes your abdominal muscles then if you sit. So there's my navel, and around about 9 times I want you to circle, doing big circles from the inside to the outside. What's that, about 3 or 4? You can wiggle as well if you wanted to. Let's say that's 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, and then back again. 1, 2, back to your navel. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And we need to store the energy we've been cultivating this evening. So rubbing your hands vigorously together. And you can feel the warmth of your hands over your face. You can place your hands over your eyes and your face. Has a nice relaxing but rejuvenating effect on your facial muscles, eyes, forehead, sinuses, helping to calm the mind if it's overactive. And then bring your hands across your head, down your jaw. Got winter coat now. I'll have to trim that back soon. And we do this 3 times, or you can do it as many times as you like, 9 times or 36 times or 108 times. And bring your hands in front of your heart. So from your head to your heart, down to your hara. Separate the hands. And just bring your hands down the midline of the body 3 times. So we're gathering the energy we've been cultivating. So just get in a comfortable position. Sorry, lumpy bit. And bring your hands down. Once again, 3rd time, breathing in and breathing out, drawing energy down the midline of the body. And bring it down to your Dantien. Right hand for ladies, left hand for gentlemen, opposite hand on top. And do 3 deep abdominal breaths to store the energy we've been cultivating this evening. Okay, so thank you very much for joining along this evening, and so look forward to seeing you next Wednesday. Hang on a second. See what we're doing. Let's look in my diary. So next Wednesday will be, we're going to be doing the iron bridge, which is a really good exercise for stretching the body and circulating energy around. It's also good for your spine and many other things. So I'd recommend doing that. if you've got back problems, you might find it's very, very beneficial. So, okay, have a good evening and bye for now.